So just before we leave the Oriire matter, to trail on what our newspaper guest had talked about, where he questioned the seeming lack of transparency in the operation, because we have not seen bodies of terrorists that were neutralized. We have not seen an interview conducted with the suspected now kidnappers of the Oriire pupils and teachers. As a matter of fact, there are suggestions in the media that some of the terrorists may have abandoned the pupils, before the operation. And so the suggestion that this particular success story has weakened Ansaru may not be true. So from where you stand, and perhaps if you have insider information, can you talk to us about this lack of transparency in the process and the need for more reassurance that indeed, if they have neutralized terrorists, if they have arrested terrorists, that that is the case, and subsequently we'll be seeing more transparency?
Transparency, that's why it's a security operation. It is not an operation that is supposed to be carried out on the pages of newspapers or on radio or television stations. If you permit me, you give me time, I will take you through the operation. In the first place, the terrorists chose the Oriire school abduction for a purpose. The purpose is to pressure the government to release their leadership that have been arrested and are being prosecuted by the service, especially counting on the fact that the president is a Southwesterner and the media in Nigeria is inclined toward the Southwest, so there will be a lot of pressure, and that is good for them. Unfortunately for them, that was not to be, because the service went into other activities, especially the arrest of their own their own assets, like their parents, their wives, their children. All of them are collaborators. Don't mistake me. It is not just picking them for the sake of picking. All of them are collaborators. So they are all subject to be picked and interrogated. Upon this happening, the terrorists now opened communication with the service and asked what needs to be done, and they gave those conditions. Those conditions were denied flatly. And the terrorists now were put under pressure. The pressure was transferred from government to them, and they had to now look for a way out. They knew that if anything happens to these children, their own people who are in custody will also suffer the same fate. So the option of killing any of them was out of the issue. Now the problem to them was how to resolve the matter amicably. Amicably in the sense that they wanted a lifeline. And that lifeline did not come because the security forces did not accede to it. In between, there was a congregation of security forces. That is the synergy I had somebody talking about in the last clip. There was a congregation of security forces, and positions were taken after the location was isolated. And the whole community around that place was dominated. They were denied access to food. They were denied access to weapons. Informants, their informants were taken out and used as assets. Videos of all these operations were ferried to them, and they saw that they had no option than to surrender. It was in the process of closing in on them after they were encircled that the three forces from the police, army, and other security services that were lost through IED. They marched on IED and they were killed. So getting to the level where they were to be annihilated completely, they gave out the children, thinking that that will resolve the matter. After the children were successfully resolved, the forces engaged them. Unfortunately for them, all of them were they were all surrounded, they were engaged, some of them were eliminated, and about 4 of them were critically wounded and picked, and the other ones among them were picked with the minor injuries. The 4 of them that were critically injured died in hospital, while the other ones are being processed to be prosecuted. So it is not an issue of transparency not being there. At every stage in operation, there are steps that needs to be taken. At the right time, if time permits, the nation will see every detail of what has happened. After all, the thing has now become a matter of public public interest. So it is not going to be swept under the carpet for whatever reason. But I think the time is not right for all these kind of comments to be made on the operation. I think we should be eulogizing the state services, and other security services for doing what they have done and doing it very well.